This is the Mammotion LUBA Mini AWD 800H robot lawnmower. My first impression was simple. It looks like a compact off-road machine that just happens to cut grass. From my experience over several weeks, it's one of the most capable robotic mowers I've used on tricky terrain, and also one of the pickiest when it comes to setup and software behavior. If you're new to wire-free mowers, this one uses satellite correction for precise positioning and a camera system to help when the satellite signal gets weak. On paper, that means no boundary wire and smart object detection. In practice, it shines on hills and rough ground, but you'll need patience to get the most out of it. The design is slick and a bit flashy. The white body looks premium, the stance is low and wide, and the wheels are beefy. It weighs about 33 pounds, and the built-in handles make it manageable to move. The dimensions are roughly 23 by 16.9 by 11.1 inches, so Mini is more about deck width than overall presence. The finish does pick up dust, grass stains, and mud fast. The upside is its IPX6 rating, so rinsing it off is easy. Underneath, the single cutting disc carries 6 small pivoting blades driven by an 88-watt motor, and the cutting width is 7.9 inches. The height adjustment lives in the app and ranges from 2.2 to 4.0 inches, which covers most cool season and warm season lawns. The control layout is straightforward, with a big red stop button up top for safety. The overall feel is sturdy and purpose-built rather than delicate. Setup determines everything. Key features like accuracy from RTK rely on a good base station placement. I had to try a couple of mounting spots before I got a clean, unobstructed sky view. If you're unfamiliar with RTK, think of it like an anchor that helps the mower know exactly where it is. Trees and rooflines can mess with that. The other critical piece is the charging dock. In my opinion, this is the most sensitive part of the whole system. It wants a perfectly flat, level surface. Even a small tilt caused the mower to miss the charging pins. I ended up shimming and leveling the area until docking became consistent. If your yard is uneven near power, plan on doing some prep. Mapping the yard was the fun part. I tried both manually driving the mower along the edges using the app and the auto mapping mode. Auto mapping did a surprisingly good job finding the transition from grass to paths and beds. I cleaned up a few edges manually and set no-go areas around landscaping. The app lets me break the property into zones and set schedules per zone. It supports up to 20 areas, which is more than enough for a typical home. Out on the lawn, the AI system and suspension are the standout. My yard has a steep section that's always been a pain with walk-behind mowers, and the LUBA Mini climbed it with confidence. The omni-wheels up front help it pivot neatly without tearing the turf most of the time. On softer spots, I did see some scuffing on tight turns, so I turned on gentler turning behavior in the app, and that helped. Cutting quality is clean and consistent, even after rain when the grass is heavy. The 88-watt blade motor doesn't bog down easily, and the mulch is fine enough that clippings disappear into the lawn. The trade-off for the nice finish is speed. With a 7.9-inch cutting width, it takes a while to cover larger spaces. On a full charge, it runs around 2 hours for me, and a recharge takes roughly close to 3 hours. If you're aiming to cover the high end of the rated 0.2-acre capacity, expect the mower to work in multiple sessions through the day. Noise is impressively low. It hums more than it roars. I let it run early in the morning and in the evening without any complaints at home. Connectivity has been reliable for status checks over Wi-Fi and 4G. I can see where it is, what it's doing, and battery level from the app when I'm away. Remote driving control, though, is Bluetooth only, so if it gets stuck and I'm not nearby, I can't steer it out of trouble. That's a limitation worth knowing. Signal reliability under trees is better than some models I've used, but not perfect. When the RTK signal drops near dense canopy or along walls, the camera system is supposed to bridge the gap. Sometimes it does, and it's impressive. Other times, it pauses and waits for a good signal again, which means I have to nudge it in the app. Another note, when rain hits and the sensor pauses mowing, it returns to base, but doesn't always auto-resume after things dry out. I've had to tell it to continue. I'd love to see smarter auto-resume in a future update. On the safety and security side, it has the basics covered. Lift or tilt stops the blade immediately, and the GPS tracking plus ownership lock gives peace of mind. If it's moved out of the set area, I get an alert, and the lost feature helps prevent unauthorized use. That all worked as intended. Key features that win me over start with the terrain capability. From my experience, AWD plus the adaptive suspension is not just marketing. It keeps all 4 wheels planted, and the traction up steep or rutted sections feels confident. The quiet operation deserves more credit than it gets. It's easy to live with and doesn't turn mowing into background noise. The cut quality is excellent for a small deck robot. The 6-blade disc leaves a clean finish and blends clippings well, and the adjustable height from 2.2 to 4.0 inches lets me tune for heat waves or push growth. The mowing patterns are more than a gimmick. Checkerboard and diamond grid actually show up nicely when the grass is healthy, and the zero-turn capability keeps the lines sharp. Multi-zone management in the app is powerful. I can schedule different areas differently, fence off beds, and route around hardscape without running wire. The anti-theft features and geofence alerts are solid. I also appreciate that I can check status over 4G when I'm not home. I do have to call out the quirks, so expectations are real. Swiss CF docking requires a truly level pad. If you don't give it that, you'll chase charging errors and lose the whole set it and walk away feel. Coverage claims are achievable, but keep the charge and recharge cycle in mind. Because of the narrow deck, it's more of a steady daily maintainer than a once-a-week sprinter. And while the visual positioning is smart, it isn't magic. Complex shade and tight corridors can still cause pauses. In my opinion, these are solvable with careful setup and some patience, but they're not nothing. It's perfect for homeowners with challenging lawns, steep grades, uneven ground, patches that a traditional bot can't handle, and who don't mind spending time to position the RTK base and level the dock. If you care about lawn stripes and a tidy finish, you'll like what it does with patterns. If your yard is flat, simple, and you just want a completely hands-off solution, there are easier options with bigger decks and simpler demands. In my opinion, the hardware outpaces the software. The machine itself feels tough, stable, and powerful. The app is good overall, but autonomy still needs polish around auto-resume and fallback navigation. I'd recommend this for tech-comfortable users who enjoy tinkering a bit and want wire-free mapping, strong hill performance, and a quiet mower that truly looks after the turf. In conclusion, the Mammotion LUBA Mini 800H is a serious tool with real strengths: traction, quiet operation, clean cut, flexible app control, and robust safety and anti-theft. The learning curve is in the setup and the patience to dial in docking and mapping. If that trade makes sense for your yard, this robot can deliver a pro-looking lawn without the noise and hassle of traditional mowing. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the Mammotion LUBA Mini AWD 800H robot lawnmower. Thank you for watching.